What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We're here at the Rtisan Podcast, and we got what I think is a pretty interesting topic on hand today. So, my main man Eric sent us sent me a link to an article that was talking about rappers and their careers, and how it coincided with some NBA players in their careers, and I thought that was pretty slick, man. And we took a look at it, and we had some very interesting thoughts about the article, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the website is djbooth.net, and the name of the article is 15 Most Disappointing Legacies in Rap and Their NBA Counterparts Ranked. Okay, so in general, like, disappointing legacies in rap.
Yeah.
So that off top kind of like makes me feel some type of way just off the strength that it's like some of these cats in the article, we're gonna get to them. Some of the NBA players have actually had really great careers, and we call them kind of disappointing. It's like I don't know.
Well, basically, it's they didn't live up to the hype or the potential that they was the hype that they came in with. So they started at a buzz, and then they kind of fizzled out. So they were comparing the rappers like that with the NBA players, their counterparts. Some of it made sense. Some of it is questionable.
Right.
I guess at best to say.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get right into some of these, man. So the very first one, we got Juelz Santana, and they say Juelz Santana is Sean Kemp. I instantly had a problem with that one, dog.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
So their reason is, Juelz Santana was Cameron's sidekick.
Right.
Which is kind of true.
It is.
I agree with that. Sean Kemp, from what I remember, there were times when Sean Kemp was literally the best player on the floor. A lot of times.
Yeah.
He was one of the most exciting players in the NBA. He was a dominant power forward. He had the misfortune to me of being in the league at the same time as like prime Charles Barkley. He won the MVP in '93. He had to share the stage with cats like Karl Malone and C. Webb. Shaq was kind of like a thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
His teammate Gary Payton.
Exactly. His teammate. He had who is a Hall of Famer. Sean Kemp is not, even though I think we can both agree that he probably should have been.
He should have been. He was, to me, one of the most athletic guys. To me, I don't think anybody in the NBA today is athletic as he was in his prime.
I've never seen a more athletic player for sure.
Everybody kept trying to compare Blake Griffin to him. Like, nah, it's not even close.
Yeah. Sean Kemp was on another level,
he
man.
He
and
was.
if you don't know this, there were kind of two young teams in the '90s that had like the right mix of veterans and like superstardom. And in the East, it was the Orlando Magic, who had Penny Hardaway and Shaq. And they had, role players like D3 and Nick Anderson. Scott Skiles was on the team for a while. Horace Grant, he left the Bulls and went over there. And in the West, you had Seattle. You had GP and Sean Kemp, who was the centerpieces of that
team.
Absolutely. And then you had cats like Detlef Schrempf and Hershey Hawkins. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sam Parker was on that team.
Sam Parker, absolutely. So two loaded teams. And my problem with this list, fundamentally, is that those Seattle teams won 60 games 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And the teams that they were losing to, like the Suns, and they had to compete with the David Robinson-led Spurs, and they had Utah. You know what I mean? They had to go through like some real teams, man. Absolutely.
And then when they did make it, they had to go against a
Jordan.
Yeah.
The GOAT. The GOAT. So this bothered me because to me, I never thought Juelz was the best anything. And if you look at the whole just Dipset in general and like all their affiliations, he wasn't a better rapper than Cameron, really. No. I mean, they were kind of like the same, but Cameron was the leader.
Cameron was the leader. He was more, to me, Cameron was more lyrical. Juelz was okay. It was sometimes nursery rhymes. Sometimes it was okay.
Right. But, that's kind of what they was doing. And I'm good with that. Yeah. I'm good with that, bro. Yeah. He wasn't better than Freeway.
No.
He wasn't better than Beanie Siegel.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So even on your list of cats, you were never really the guy, and that's my problem with this, man. And Another thing that they did in this article was they got what they thought what their ceiling could be, and they have Santana's ceiling as top 5 MC of his era. What the fuck are you talking about?
So his era be what, 03, 04?
Maybe
2000 era?
I was gonna say 02 to maybe what, 06?
So
is that fair? Is that fair to say 02 to 06?
So
maybe even by 05 he was kind of like not the guy anymore.
He was 05. He was still the guy up until Wayne. After went up, he was still kind of the guy because everybody was hoping for that mixtape they was gonna do, which I didn't care about, but it never came out. But he was still the guy up until then. But it was like he's got one more. He got this next album gonna be hot. This next album gonna be hot, but it never came.
It never happened. Nope. And you know what? You know what did happen? 50 Cent happened, dog.
Yeah.
And top 5 MC of his era. That they say that's his ceiling. There was too many other cats in the era for me to even.
Yeah.
Like I said, he may have been the 5th best rapper in his own stable of cats, and they gave him top 40 MC ever?
No.
Come on, man.
Now
top 40?
I liked his second album, but
I did too. I mean, I was never really a Dipset fan like that. Okay. I liked a lot of their music, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't like my group. You know what I'm saying? I liked them, but let's keep it to I like them, man. And but I think appropriately, they say Kemp's ceiling is top 10 power forward ever, and top 40 NBA career. Yeah. That definitely could have been.
And I guess Kemp's thing was he couldn't stop having babies. I don't know if that derailed his career.
And then once I think he got on drugs and shit too.
He got traded to Cleveland and started going down, drugs and child payments and kids and Jarrell's just, I don't know.
He got rich. He's saying that nigga got rich.
I don't know if he got rich. I
was talking about Sean Kemp.
That's
what happened. He got rich.
Exactly.
He got rich. He won, bro.
He started working hard. Like, shit, I'm good.
Exactly.
These babies, get drug habits.
Right.
I ain't gonna blow all this money, then you blow all the money.
Right. I don't know if that's up to, but he got fat.
He definitely got fat.
I remember Kemp in Orlando. Do you remember him when he was playing with Tracy McGrady?
Wasn't he on? I thought he was on Portland at one point.
He did go to Portland at one point.
I remember him at Portland looking fat as fuck.
He was on Portland and on the Magic playing with Tracy McGrady. Fat as hell, G. He had titties, bro. Yeah, but that was just upsetting to me. The next one, they got Corrupt, and they say Corrupt is Rasheed Wallace.
It would depend. I guess it depends on. I don't know how many Rasheed Wallace fans are there in the NBA. I mean, of his.
Look,
I know Corrupt has his following out west. He is from Philly, I believe. So,
is he? I don't know where the hell he's from.
He's from Philly, but he's located from out west. Throughout his career, he's known as a West Side legend, LA legend.
Okay.
Rasheed Wallace, I mean, he did have potential to be great. He always talked his way out of shit, and he couldn't keep his anger in line. But I don't know. I know with him, it's like he wanted to be the main guy. He just wanted to do what he got to do, and that was it. Play ball, get his points, help his team win, piss off everybody else in the process, and that's it.
Well, so they have Corrupt ceiling as top 5 MC of his era. Maybe
90s.
Maybe
he was lyrical.
He had bars.
Yeah, he had bars.
So I could kind of see that he was what, late 90s. That was kind of his mid-late 90s. That was kind of his
early mid-late 90s. Doing that the Chronic Doggy Style 92, 93.
Okay, so I
94.
Maybe I can kind of get with that. So you say top 5, maybe top 8. Okay, if he had reached his ceiling. Okay. Wallace is still in top 5, top 10 power forward ever, and top 50 NBA player.
I don't know about top 50.
So here's the thing, from a pure talent standpoint, Sheed is one of the most talented power forwards ever.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the original ones with the jumper and all that. He wasn't your traditional power.
I think if Rasheed Wallace was playing in this era right now, he'd be getting 26 points a game.
Easily.
He could finish with either hand.
He could have did that in his hour.
He could have, She, to me, like, when you talk about, so he had the misfortune too. His prime was in Dirk's prime.
Yeah.
It was in KG's prime, who was similar to him in a lot of ways, right? Tim Duncan's prime, who we consider to be the goat of the power forward position.
Not damn power forward though.
Well, he was.
He's fucking.
He was. Well, you know what?
I get it.
He changed. His game changed over time because he used to be way more athletic, and I think the way that Pop used him.
Once he got Tony Parker and Ginobili.
Right. But so he had to compete with Duncan, KG, Dirk. You remember young Amari Stoudemire before he got hurt?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fucking dog, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy athletic. He was kind of like Kemp. Like when you talk about like athleticism, he had C-Webb was in there with him. Who else would have been in there with him? Kind of. That's enough names right there. I mean, that's Hall of Fame talent right there. So, but even among those guys, though you listen to those dudes talk about Sheed, and it's like, yeah, man, that guy, probably should have been a Hall of Fame. He's not, but he did end up winning the championship. I think he was one of the key contributors of the 04 Pistons team. When they got him, I knew it was over, man. I mean, you think about how good that team was. They beat the Lakers in 5 games, man. You know what I'm saying?
The Lakers team. Granted, some of those players are old, but still low.
Still, man, they still had semi-prime Shaq and entering prime Kobe. And they beat. It should have been a sweep, really, but they beat him in 5 games.
It should have been a sweep.
So yeah, man. I mean, I guess I can kind of see Corrupt and Sheed. I don't want to fight that one too much.
Nah, that's not. I can see it too. They both could have had better careers. If
right.
Corrupt would have did an album with Dre during that Death Row era, who knows what we'd be saying about him now.
Yeah, man, because Corrupt would have had to compete with Nas. Jay-Z was about to hit the scene. Snoop, Big, Pac was around.
Wu-Tang squad.
The whole Wu-Tang squad, bro. Redman was like the #1 MC of like 92 or 93 or whatever it was. He would have had a lot of competition at that particular time, man. Too Short was around, man. So yeah. So I don't want to fight that one too much, unless you got something else you want to add on that one. Okay.
That one was not too bad. It was solid. That's
cool.
That's nothing to really like get Stephen A. Smith over.
Right. Now this one I got a fucking problem with. Cameron is Tracy McGrady. Y'all, okay. Okay. They say Cameron's ceiling was best MC of his era and top 25 MC era.
What is considered his era? Because he came in 96. He came in with Mace. So is that his era, the 90s era to the 2000s?
To me, he didn't really hit his stride until the early 2000s.
Well, the old boy.
Right, because cats in Chicago didn't really know who he was in 96, 97, 98, 99. Did you know who the hell he was?
I did.
You did?
I did.
All right, well, see, you a true MC. You're a true hip-hop head. All right, I give you that, but I wasn't really fucking with him like that.
I mean, his songs wasn't great. I mean, the first album, Horse and the Carrot, that shit was trash.
This is his first one. We give him a pass.
And then the second one, nobody really listened to. I forgot the name of it. It was actually solid, but it wasn't until, like you said, that third album we got with Rockefeller, then the Paid in Full movie, then people started paying more attention to him.
He blew up.
Yep, he blew up.
And Dipset blew the fuck up. Yep. They kind of dominated them and Cash Money were kind of dominating the early 2000s, man. And I think their run kind of lasted a little longer than Cash Money's run. I feel like, I don't want to say it lasted longer. Cash Money, I feel like got started a little bit sooner, right? But they kind of tailed into, they were able to sort of get into the mid-2000s, I feel like.
Dipset kind of they could have had a bigger run had not 50 and G that came in.
They could have had a damn Wu-Tang-like run. When you look at all the people that was in and around Rockefeller, right? Just in and around Rockefeller.
I think that's what Dane wanted, but that's one of the reasons why Rockefeller broke up. That's a whole nother episode.
Right. But best MC of his era? Fuck no. Fuck no. And the reason, just no. That's a no. But to compare him to Tracy McGrady in his prime, so I'm going to say 01 to 06, 07.
Yeah.
Quite possibly was the best offensive player in basketball.
Yeah.
He is what James Harden is right now. And if T-Mac was playing right now, he'd be getting 35 points a game. And I know this because he actually scored 31 points a game in the early, with playing with bums. Bums. Bum-ass Orlando teams.
Grant Hill hurt, he can't play.
Bro.
You said Sean Kidd with man titties.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Cameron was never that, and I got mad love for Cam, G. Mad love.
You might get some negative feedback on your Cam assessment. Cam has some love out there.
Well, look, man, he wasn't a king of New York, but he was definitely one of the Dukes of New York at his time.
Definitely.
And he was one of the cats running hip hop in the early mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Cool. That nigga was not T-Mac. T-Mac, I watched him play the Lakers. There's YouTube footage of him playing the Lakers, and with prime Shaq and somewhat almost prime Kobe, and he was the best player on the fucking court. Like no, and it was obvious to me. He was carrying a bad team to the playoffs in the East, right? And he was making it happen. I can't say that about Cam. I can't sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, I can drop a bunch of Cameron lines that I remember being dope as fuck. But I can't say T-Mac won a scoring title twice.
That's one thing about Cam. I don't know none of his lines either.
That's a problem for me.
And then the stuff I wouldn't know, it made no sense.
We can name his songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had some hits,
Yeah.
some hits. But I'm struggling. So I could really see Cameron being more or less akin to like, this gonna sound fucked up maybe to some people, but maybe Steve Francis, bro.
Damn, that's low.
Bro, if you think about
he
how
had a good career.
He had a nice 4 or 5 years, man.
He's still relevant today, though. At least.
Who? Okay, well, think about this. Let me throw this at you. Steve Francis was really one of those like progenitors of like this era of like combo guard.
Mm-hmm.
He had crazy. He competed in the dunk contest, right? He had a nice 3-point stroke. He had handles. He could finish around the rim really well, man. Like he was the best player on those Rockets teams. Like before T-Mac came, you know what I'm saying? Right, and I think he was with Yao for either a year or maybe two.
Yeah.
And Yao's first year, he wasn't what he was 3 or 4 years down the road.
No, he was still learning NBA.
Exactly. So to say he was to put him more or less in that category to me kind of makes sense. Like maybe AI would be even a little bit better of a comparison, but AI won an MVP. He drug a average team to the finals.
And I like the AI one though, but people don't look at AI's career as disappointing. Maybe the way it ended was disappointing because he didn't get to go out on his terms, and that may be better than putting him with T-Mac. I think the ending was just the real Tim. I don't know what the real Cam was. Career just lack of just putting out content, or it just fizzled out. I mean, after Purple Haze, it fizzled out. He's still relevant somewhat, but
I agree he's still relevant, but
it's not where it was.
So what's a better comp? Because T-Mac.
I don't know. I think even though AI is a Hall of Famer too, but I like AI a little bit better. I feel like they both did something
culturally relevant.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. I'm not gonna fight you too much on that one, but to me, AI had too much of a career for me to even really put him.
But I felt like he left. He still had some stuff. He still had something left in the tank. So he could have did something for an NBA team if he had his focus and would have just say, I come off the bench to get y'all these points.
Right. Yeah.
But it's funny how Melo, this off topic, they kind of doing Melo the way they did AI. Like they just
very similarly for sure.
Yep.
So the next one we got is it's a Fabulous is Chris Webber.
That one not too bad.
I don't hate that one. Just for the audience's sake, it's a Fabulous ceiling, top 5 MC of his era. When you listen to him rap, I can't necessarily deny that.
No, I always put Fabulous, Lloyd Banks, and Jadakiss. Once Jay retired, I said those are the 3 rappers who should be aiming for that throne. Because 50 was already on point. We knew Nas, but I just Fabulous, Lloyd Banks, Jadakiss, lyrical rappers, they should be killing it. Yeah. And all 3 of them had disappointing careers to me.
Yeah, man.
So I don't get.
You know what Jadakiss' problem was? He didn't evolve.
But I always said about 50 though. At least Jada gave us some different elements in his albums. But after that second album, that third one was trash. His beat selections are not great. And like you say, he really didn't evolve. It's still the same stuff. He's still lyrically dope, but it's not like
we can't deny his bars.
No, you can't deny his bars. At some point, you want to hit some different stuff.
Right.
You want to hear a little bit different. I'm in a different mindset now. I'm not trying to hear about the drug game.
Right.
You know, Push still do that, but I still can listen to it. But then when I'm not in the zone, I don't listen to it. But
no,
he didn't. Like you say, he didn't really truly evolve as an artist.
Right.
Nor as hearing beats to do something different.
Yeah, no doubt. But so Fabulous Chris Webber. Fabulous had a lot of competition in
just say 2000s.
Yeah, early mid. Yeah, exactly. And I think there was just a lot going on at that particular time. But just from a skill set standpoint, Chris Webber had a ton of skills.
Yeah.
Right. Fabulous had a ton of skills. And you listen to some of Fabulous features, man. It's like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? It was you can't deny it. You cannot deny it, man. But for whatever reason, he never really ascended to the all NBA level of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
He was always second to be, not all first team. basically.
Right, or third even sometimes. You know what I mean? But you know,
same as Chris Webber.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It's like, you know, you look at my favorite memories of Chris Webber are with the Kings. You know what I'm saying? And some of my favorite memories of which, you know, they didn't win a championship. They lost in the Western Conference Finals in Game 7. I remember that heartbreak. Tim Donaghy, I get it. You know, blah, 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 blah. They should have won. They should have won, absolutely. But they didn't. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, for whatever reason, they couldn't get over the hump. And the next year, they couldn't get over the hump again either, man.
But that's his whole
That's his whole career. From college
yeah.
all the way through.
And he still can't do it as a commentator either. So
well,
it's all career, man.
Yeah, man.
Just can't get it done.
So I liked that, and just for you guys' sake, it was fabulous. Top 5 MC of his era, top 25 MC ever. If he really put the work in, I could kind of see top 25 MC ever. I could too. Chris Webber ceiling, best power forward ever. Nah, I can't go there.
Over Tim Duncan.
I can't, bro. Over and Barkley. Nah, I can't. And like I said, even KG and Dirk and we talked about She earlier.
And all these guys in the same era, so it's like all these great players competing.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. It's tough. So Chris Webber was never going to be the best power forward of all time. Top 20 NBA player ever? Nah. Top 60? Definitely. Definitely, man. All right. So
also injuries played a part in his career too.
Definitely. Okay. So here's the one I had maybe the biggest problem with. Yeah, you just saw it. It says Nicki Minaj is Dwight Howard. What the actual fuck? I got a problem, bro. I got a problem with that. I
mean, Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer.
He is going to be a Hall of Famer. So, Nicki Minaj ceiling, best MC of her era. Yeah. Top 20 MC ever. I'm going to say top 30. But you could sell me top 20 based on impact as well. Mm-hmm. So, I'm good with that. Okay. Howard ceiling, top 5 center ever. That was never going to be.
Don't think so?
No.
If you develop the actual post game.
Wilt? No. Wilt is the most athletic player to ever play in the NBA.
Most dominant player.
Yeah, just period. Yeah. Period. It's end of discussion. Yeah. Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, David Robinson. He's probably closer to Nate Thurman. Right? He's probably Nate Thurman, but he wasn't better than Moses Malone. No. You know what I'm saying? Pat. No, I can't. He was never cracking that top 5, bro. Bill Russell, we didn't even bring him up. Rings alone put him in any discussion, man.
I would compare his game more to Bill Russell stuff. He doesn't never got rings because he wasn't like a scorer. He's more of a defender and get you rebounds.
I won't fight you on that.
So I would say
I won't fight you on that.
Like a Bill Russell, but like you say, he didn't have the rings.
And we can't deny that there was a point in time where Dwight Howard was a top 5 player in the league.
Hell yeah.
Just rebounding. Did he win 3 straight defensive player?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a fucking accomplishment. And he led the league in rebounds a bunch of times. He was dominant. And now he eliminated LeBron.
Yeah.
In
09. 10 years ago, 09.
Oh, that's a real thing, bro. That's a real thing. And when you look at the team he had, I think Turkoglu was the next best player on that team.
Rashad Lewis.
I think
between those two.
It is between those two. But if you look at like what they were doing from a playmaking standpoint, Turkoglu was like the point forward of that team, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel like that was like the prototype for what's in the NBA now. When you have a big who can.
You're right, bro.
Who can't maybe necessarily have a post game, but if you double him, he got shooters. He has to give him the ball.
He's like Danilo Gallinari almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But bro, Nicki. First off, Nicki got bars for fucking days. I know she do a lot of pop shit and blah 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 blah, but she getting paid. All right, that's the thing. She came in a lot, kind of like how Ja Rule did, right? Just with rhymes for days, right? And then Ja Rule started singing and dancing and shit with J-Lo and Ashanti and whatnot. And Nicki started doing a lot of the same stuff because she started to have a lot of crossover appeal, man. Yeah. And then, her latest album, man, I listened to a couple of those songs on there, bro. Nicki is rapping dude, she can still fucking rap, dog.
She's not as relevant, though.
See, but I think some of that has to do with the fact that the music industry won't allow for several female artists to be popping at the same time.
See, I would say that, but now City Girls is popping now.
Okay, they are popping. They're not popping like what's that girl name?
Cardi B.
They ain't popping like she is.
They don't have the machine on behind them yet.
Okay, all right. And
Nicki had the machine behind
I guarantee. Okay, and if City Girls get that machine behind them, she won't be as relevant. You can't really name a time where there was 2 or 3 female rappers really getting it. Remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was Eve, G.
I mean, you had Eve, you had Foxy, you had Kim. Trina had a little run in there.
Trina had a little run.
Missy, can't forget Missy.
Well, to me, Missy is in a whole other category. To me, she's the most
right.
talented female artist.
Woman artist. That's
like
the last
30 years.
But yeah, she could do it all basically.
She does everything. So I kind of have I don't want to do them the disservice of comparing them to Missy Elliott, man. So but no, bro. Nicki Minaj for the last 10 years has had maybe the greatest. She has had the greatest run of any female in hip hop.
That's true.
And
can't deny that.
If there was a championship ring to be had, I think she would have 2 or 3. Because really, when you look at overall impact for the last 10 years, to me, I'm just saying in hip hop, the only other person you can compare her to is Drake.
Yeah. Only reason I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The reason it got them to her like that is just because of how lyrical we know she can be,
right.
And how at times she never failed. She failed to deliver that because she was trying to appeal to a pop audience. So she will get these pop songs to get more lyrical bars. Mm-hmm. So by the time she try to get back to the bars, like this, we got other stuff we can listen to now.
And niggas gotta pay bills. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm with you. But we also have to accept the fact that just like in the NBA right now, niggas chucking up threes. And maybe they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate that shit.
But in today's rap game, you can't just be spitting gangster rap all. You can't. We just criticized Jadakiss for doing that.
Well, Jadakiss wasn't gonna be out here singing, but he could have. I mean, he tried to be on more of a radio-friendly side, but it just didn't pan out.
It wasn't for him.
It didn't fit.
That wasn't his lane.
Certain artists it don't fit, and then certain artists it match perfectly, but then they kind of get stuck in that lane, and then they can't really. They can't do it again.
Right.
Duplicate that success.
Right.
So Nicki had a great run. I mean, like you said, I don't think that's not another woman in rap that's done what she's accomplished in 10 years.
Yeah, man.
I mean, a lot of that stuff is. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a lot of it's stat padding. Like when you say.
I see what you're saying.
Like
I see what you're saying.
She has like the record for the most Billboard songs.
Okay, but I compare her to Kevin Durant. I think she's Kevin Durant. And when you look at the fact that Kevin Durant has been kind of stat padding with his rings and he went and joined the 72-win team, it's sort of the same thing. And you look when she came up with Young Money, she was with Drake and Lil Wayne. He had James Harden and Serge Ibaka when we thought that Serge Ibaka could have eventually turned into a top 3 power forward, and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. Their
careers kind of parallel.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So, Nicki Minaj, y'all fucked that one up. I helped you out. She's Kevin Durant. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. What's up, guys? We're back at the Chi-Town Down Podcast, and we're talking about the NBA rappers NBA players and rappers and the shortcomings of their career.
Most disappointing, didn't live up to that hype.
Right. So, this one... I disagree with, so they say Big Pun is Larry Johnson. And we have Pun Ceiling as top 5 MC of his era, top 20 MC ever.
Yeah. You don't think so?
I think the man had mad talent.
But
I don't know if we have enough to say top 20 MC ever. I don't know that there's enough there. And Larry Johnson Ceiling, top 15 power forward ever.
Damn, top 15.
Top 75 NBA
player. Is he not top 15 right now?
Who, Larry Johnson?
Yeah. No, he's probably not.
No, definitely not.
Top 15, man, I don't know.
Maybe he could have been 15.
He had a good run.
He had a really good run. And then he turned into a role player, overnight.
Real quick.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he had some injuries he was dealing with and whatnot. But,
That's Charlotte LJ, though.
He was a dog. He was Zion.
Yeah.
That's what he was, bro.
Yep.
So I'm with it. But he probably would have been top 50. Okay, I give him top 15. Power forward, cool.
And they prime it.
Yeah, the Pun thing, once again, we dealing with the late 90s, right? And there was
So Big was gone, Pac was gone. You still had Jay, you still had Nas, still Max was
You did. Eminem
was
showed the fuck up and destroyed shit.
Yeah. Mace was still out.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Quite possibly. I feel more comfortable saying top 8.
Top 8.
I feel more comfortable saying top 8. If let's say he would have had like a 7 or 8 year run from like the mid 90s to the early 2000s. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. But saying top 5, definitely. I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch for me. Top 20 MC ever. That's also a little bit of a stretch for me, bro.
It would be interesting though. I would wonder with his passing, I would wonder where Remy Ma's career would be if he had not passed, because that kind of allowed her to come up
to fill that slot.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Out of Tell's crowd, nobody else came to bat except near Remy, so that would be interesting to see what would happen.
Well, I mean, you had Fat Joe, who was kind of carrying the torch for a while.
He was
definitely had some hits. Yeah. She was definitely the best rapper of that group.
Yeah.
And let me just say, I love Pun's flow, dog. I love the way he sounds. Like, I love it, man. I love it. I just don't know. I don't know that I can give him top 20.
You don't know that was enough in his catalog.
Exactly, man. I need another album or two.
So do you not have Big or Pac in your all-time top 5?
Hell yeah. But dude, they had two. Big had 2 legendary albums, and Pac has the greatest catalog of anybody who died before they turned 30 ever, of almost any genre. Period.
Some people say you can't put Big in there because he only has 2 albums.
Anybody that say that.
That was a 3-year run.
Anybody that want to say that, okay, then I'm gonna just give a baseball analogy. Sandy Koufax only really had like 4 great years, but he's in the Hall of Fame because he was that fucking dominant. He was that goddamn dominant. And I will put his 2 albums up against anybody's other 2 albums, or who think that he shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying?
He's in my top 5. Some people say, you can't put him in their category because he died prematurely. He's only 3 years. You can't say like in those 3 years. I mean, he
shut the fuck up.
He was
whoever got to hear that.
He was one of the best when he was doing it.
Shut the fuck up. I'm with you, bro.
Name me one bad Biggie verse. That's all.
No, you can't, bro. You can't, man. He's all these New York niggas' daddy.
Still.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially like everybody that came after him, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
So no, I'm with you on that one, man. I can't necessarily fight this Pun and Larry Johnson thing. Maybe this one to me would have been a better comparison than maybe Grant Hill. Would have been a better comparison.
I forget. Is he on the list?
Is he? I don't know. I think he is. I think Grant Hill is on here, but maybe Penny. Nah, Grant Hill is okay, man. I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say we gonna get to Penny in a minute.
I know Penny is on here for sure.
That's the one you're gonna.
Okay, Mace is Penny Hardaway.
Speaking of Penny,
it just came up.
I don't know about that one. That's another like short career. I know Mace still trying to come back and be relevant, but I don't know what Mace Sullivan would have been.
Okay, let me say this: if Penny Hardaway hadn't gotten hurt,
he'd be a top 50 easily.
Not only would he have easily been top 50, I think he would have been one of the 7 greatest point guards of all time. He was 6'7", with a handle, could shoot, and could finish.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Simmons is hope. He wishes he could be. You know what I'm saying? Like, Penny is legit. He was first team All NBA.
Yeah.
Now, Mace album. I can't remember.
That's the first one.
I fucks with it.
I fucks with it. It's not a classic.
I mean, okay, but I also take his features into account, and I know for a fact he wrote a lot of shit for them. He was writing for a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying?
But also he had some people writing for him. I know Cam did some writing for him too. But Mace was supposed to do. He was.
You heard that diss track he had on Cam?
Yeah.
Hey, that shit go hard, bro. It go hard.
I'm still trying to figure out what Mace is doing. When he first came back doing the whole church thing.
Right, he was a pastor,
right,
dog.
Then the next year he came back trying to be on the Genius genuine in that rapping the gangster.
I ain't mad at him for finding Jesus.
Which one is it though? You finding Jesus or you back shooting?
I'm with you, bro. Right. Nah, I feel you. The Penny Hardaway one might have been a stretch, but it might be appropriate. Okay, who do you think is a better comparison for him? If you kind of think about his
Penny
era
with Mace?
For Mace.
Well, he left on his own terms. Penny didn't leave on his own terms.
Penny did not leave on his own terms.
I'm trying to NBA terms. I don't know. His comeback didn't lead up to anything. He don't have a Hall of Fame career. Penny. It's not a bad comparison. It's just like I said, Mace just bowed out on his own. Like when he was about to reach his prime.
Right.
Penny got hurt when he was about to reach his prime.
Yeah, man.
I don't know anybody that. It's hard in NBA somebody who just be in their prime about to retire or just lost it. It's not a bad comparison, but it's just when you think about it, it's like I don't know. Mace, I don't know if his catalog was deep enough. Like, and I liked it, Mace. I'm a Mace fan, but it's like Penny had the potential to be an all-time great. I don't know.
Maybe Mace is closer to Kevin Johnson. You know the cat that played with
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Maybe
had some really great years. Was never a superstar. It was very well respected in his era of player.
I will say when Mace was the man, he was outside of Diddy, but everybody was running for Diddy. Outside of Diddy, Mace was probably the best selling artist he had. One big pass.
Right, but there was a time. See, here's the Tracy McGrady thing. Right, we're running to the Tracy McGrady thing. There were times when Penny was the best player on the floor.
Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't know if Shaq wasn't out there.
Right, but when Shaq left, he still had he was still battling injuries, right? But there were times when Shaq's getting double teamed, blah 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 blah. Penny out there making it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I never felt like personally, as much as I really rock with Mace, I never really felt like, man, he might be one of the 5 best players five best cats in the game right now.
Nah, I know.
And I always felt like during Penny's short prime, I felt like, man, that guy was top 5, top 7.
I would say, 90 when they faced the Bulls both times, he was probably a top 5, top 10 player at that
He was
point.
absolutely top 10. He was absolutely top 10 playing with Shaq. I know the Bulls swept him, but you facing the GOAT and Scottie Pippen and Ron Harper, and they had Kukoc and whatnot, and Rodman. That team was loaded. That might have been the greatest team of all time. So I'm not gonna hold that against him too much. MJ'd a lot of niggas back in the day. He did.
That and he was getting some payback from the year before when they took them out.
Right. Exactly.
I was rusty then. I'm back now.
Right. Okay. So you feel kind of okay with that? I don't want to fight that one too much, but whatever.
I'm okay with that one. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
I don't know. It's a slight diss to me for the Penny, but it's not horrible.
To me, that's how I feel too. It's a slight diss to Penny because I think we're underselling how great Penny was.
Yeah, some good years.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Little Penny with Chris Rock, bro.
Those commercials are hilarious.
Hilarious, bro. Classic as fuck, man. Okay, this one, I thought about this one for 2 days. It says Lauryn Hill is Derrick Rose. Hill ceiling top 5 MC of her era, top 20 MC ever. Here's my problem with calling her MC. To me, she's a Missy Elliott category.
Okay.
She wasn't just a rapper, she was a singer too. You know what I mean? And she produced blah, blah, blah. I've heard some cats come out and say some very disparaging things about her still in music, right? I've heard that.
Music lyrics.
Yeah. So that kind of, I was like, that kind of ruined Lauryn Hill for me because I'm a huge Hill fan. And then Derrick Rose, top 10 point guard ever. Yeah. Top 50 NBA player ever. Yeah. 22 years old, winning MVP. Yeah, I can get down with that, dog. I can. So that we got to deal with that. So after much deliberation internally, I don't have as much issue with it. Kind of.
When I first saw it, I was like yo, I don't know. Then after thinking about, you know what, it kind of makes sense. Agreed, like it kind of makes sense. They both were like, we just thought we were gonna see the greatness keep coming out of them, and then it just fizzled immediately after you saw. Apparently, we saw that peak, and that was it.
Right. You know, if we can compare him to any D Rose to anybody, I know this isn't a direct MC thing, but maybe Aaliyah would have been a more apt comparison. She died, he got hurt, but he's still playing right now.
Still playing. He still can play,
and he's balling too, bro.
Well, he can stay healthy. But he's still healthy. He still play. Lauren hasn't been. She performed.
I was gonna say she's still touring.
That's it, but that's no new music coming.
There's not any new music.
That's not no new music. You can't say, man, Lauren's still banging those records out. You just say she touring.
Yeah.
She shows up 5 hours late. She still touring.
Right. See, my problem with the Derrick Rose thing, right? Derrick Rose, man, I don't know what he would have been. I just know the motherfucker was a bad motherfucker. He was and Lauryn Hill was a bad motherfucker. And you're right, that he got hurt. She just kind of quit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. Who in the hip hop game can we really compare? Who was cut down too early in the hip hop game, maybe?
Let's say, with her, it was more. I don't know if it was the pressure of like trying to succeed what she did with the Grammys and the records, and then just her personal life, and just combinated. So it's kind of similar to D-Rose, because his personal life is kind of going through some crap,
right?
And trying to be better than the MVP season. So I see the similarities there. I don't know who else you can compare it to really on her career, where you reach this excellent level, one great year, after another great year with another group of the Fugees. Man,
it's tough, man.
It's tough.
I know somebody's gonna be in the comments like, man, you could compare him to such,
Exactly.
but damn, I'm trying to think, man. I mean, D Rose is just that dude, man. He was that. He still is that dude.
So I see this a lot. So who do you think would have had another career if they would have not got injured? Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, or Derrick Rose, or Brandon Roy? I'm surprised it's not on this list.
I was actually kind of shocked that Brandon Roy wasn't on this list either. Played for the Portland Trailblazers, for you young cats that don't know. The better career
had they not gotten injured.
Man, Grant Hill was fucking unstoppable.
That was the original LeBron James.
Yeah. I think if he was playing in this era, he would be getting triple doubles. He would be getting triple doubles, man. He was getting them in. You're right. Man, I gotta go with Grant Hill. He was 6'7", 6'8", big, strong, could facilitate. I want to give him a slight nod over Penny because Grant Hill was the best player on his team.
He was.
Penny kind of had Shaq. He had a year without Shaq, but then he started dealing with injuries. So it's hard for me to say, but I saw Grant Hill dominate with dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like around, I think he played a year with Jerry Stackhouse. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I'll probably say Grant Hill also.
Yeah, man. So number 7, Cannabis is Derrick Coleman.
I really ignored that one because I'm not a Cannabis fan. Derrick Coleman I saw play looked like he was out of shape. I never seen the greatness of Derrick Coleman. I know he had some good years, but I never seen like a dominant year.
Derrick Coleman was basically Rasheed Wallace before Rasheed Wallace.
Okay.
And I haven't really listened to much Cannabis. I went and listened to a couple of his songs. I was like, all right.
Outside of the whole LL stuff, the disses.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all tell us about that one. Sure, because you're right.
Are y'all Cannabis fans out there?
Derrick Coleman, he did average 20 points a game. I think a time or two in his career, but you're right. He never kind of really became the player he should have became, and that happened with a lot of cats.
Yeah.
So I don't really know,
like you said earlier, when you get the money, you just lose that hunger.
Right.
You get fat.
Yeah. So this one is really interesting to me. Snoop Dogg is Bill Walton.
You said you didn't really have an issue with that one.
I don't.
I mean, do you consider Snoop Dogg's career a disappointment though?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I think he is what he is, man. He had one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time.
I always say yes too, because he co-wrote half of the Chronic. And he was on damn near half of the album songs either.
I mean, how could you not? How could he
that's
not be?
That's half his album.
So all right, so and then when he first got with No Limit, I bought his first record when I was a shorty. I remember liking it as a shorty, G. It didn't have the same flavor, but he also didn't have the same production.
He didn't. He had No Limits production. He was living in New Orleans at that time because Suge was out to kill him, so he had to be home. So yeah, that's why that. Then, but that second album, he got more in tune with the LA scene. Got back with Dre.
Yeah.
So it started getting back even killed. Then once he linked up with Pharrell and Neptunes, that's when he found his second coming with the music,
right.
And he saw the more sensual side of Snoop, more
right.
harmonizing and singing and all that.
Well, you know what? He's been able to parlay his career into 25 years. Plus. He's had a 25 plus. Well, he's creeping up on 30 right now.
Damn near.
You know what I mean? So, Snoop stealing best MC of his era.
Competing with Biggie, I don't know. And Nas.
He was outselling Biggie though. That's the thing, G.
I mean, he was the hottest rapper at that point. He had the highest selling debut album of rookie artist.
So
before I think he broke.
Best MC of his era. Maybe.
If he was, that's the thing. Like you come out with the Chronic, you come out starting with Deep Cover, then the Chronic, then your own album. So we thinking the Dogfather gonna be even better, but then we realized Dre not producing on that, and all the turmoil going on behind the scenes.
Right. And then it say top 10 MC ever.
His peak,
maybe. His catalog ain't long enough. He didn't. It didn't get there. A lot of things happen. Shit happens.
Yeah.
It never got there.
I think Snoop is in the. I think Snoop should be in the top 20 now. I think he should be in top 20 at least. Top 20.
I'll give you that. And if you're talking about influence
top 10.
Without question, bro. Without question. Walton's career, best center ever. He was never going to be the best center ever. Right?
No, he wasn't dominant. He had one good season.
He had two. He had two really great seasons.
Okay. I know he won the MVP, right?
He did win the MVP, man.
Yeah, I know he won the championship.
Bill Walton was the best player in the league, kind of, for those 2 years, man. Yeah. And if you want to take his college career into consideration, some people think Bill Walton is the greatest college player ever.
Over even Kareem.
Over Patrick Ewing, over Michael Jordan, over some people. I think he won either 2 or 3 national championships. So, okay, I didn't see him play. I've seen all his highlights. I've seen all his highlights.
I've seen Dr. J dunk him.
I mean, what? The motherfucker was unstoppable. He's probably the greatest passing center of all time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And he, in this era, once again, if we kind of put him in this era, he will be dominant. Yeah. To me, he would be like Nikola Jokic, but better. I know somebody's like, what? No, he would be better than Nikola Jokic to me.
You should get some comments just off that.
All right, well, I'm saying it. He would have been better than Nikola Jokic, man. So, Walton was never going to be the best because of Kareem, because of Wilt, because of Bill Russell, even though he was more talented than Bill Russell. Yeah. He just was. He had way more game than him. I think maybe top 7. I could see top 7. Definitely. Top 10 NBA player ever. He wouldn't have been top 10 because there's just too many. He wouldn't have been top 10 because there's 3 centers ahead of him for damn sure. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to take Shaq's career, even though to me he was a better player than, not as dominant, he was a better player than Shaq. I got to put Shaq ahead of him too. So maybe he wouldn't have been a top. He wouldn't have been top 10.
I would put Akeem ahead of him.
Absolutely, I'm putting Akeem ahead of him. But he was kind of the Akeem in his era with more passing. So I'm gonna kind of say it like that. I like it because there's a lot of what if stuffed into both of these careers, man.
Yeah.
And when you look at the second half of Walton's career, he was able to win a championship with the Celtics, being a role player. Snoop has been a role player in the second half of his career. I know Uncle Snoop, don't send them boys after me, dog. But you've been a role player, man. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like help guiding people in the West Coast. He's kind of like the godfather of hip hop right now, man.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what Bill Walton has been when you take his sideline, like commentating career into, you know what I'm saying? I remember listening to him commentate games during the Kings series with the Lakers and shit. And Bill Walton is like my favorite NBA commentator of all time, man. So that's kind of, I don't know, man.
It's not that bad. Really.
It's not that bad. I like that. I personally really like that one. Unless you think maybe, is anybody you think maybe is a better comparison for Snoop? Or maybe even Bill Walton?
No, I just look at Snoop's career. It's not a disappointment. So it's like that's the only reason I was like, so why is Snoop on here? It's not a disappointment. But I get in the
for what could have been.
For what could have been, like had those things happen. I get that. So I guess it makes sense on that level because they both to me end up having. He's in the Bill's in the Hall of Fame.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
All-time great. So they both made worth for their career, worthwhile, but it could have been much bigger though. It could have been better. For that standpoint, I get it. I get that.
For sure.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, this one is a problem, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of fucking time on this, bro. Number 5, A$AP Rocky is Grant Hill.
I feel like you got to be a fan of A$AP to really get that. If you don't know who A$AP is, it's just music, you'll be like, what the fuck? That makes no goddamn sense.
Bro, I like some of his songs. Grant Hill could have been a top 25 player all time, top 20 player all time.
Could have been top 15.
Maybe. I'm a little hesitant.
Top 20 for sure.
Bro, yes. A$AP is not cracking that list whatsoever. I want to move on. I'm sorry. Let's just get into the next one. Fight me on it. Oh yeah, let's just do this. A$AP Rocky ceiling. Best MC of his era.
No.
Top 25 MC ever.
No.
Somebody is an A$AP Rocky and his fan in this article.
Definitely.
I'm fine with you being a fan, but my nigga, chill. Let's move on. Let's just.
What was Grant Hill ceiling?
Grant Hill ceiling, top 5 small forward ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 20 NBA career ever. So I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
And Grant Hill's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if A$AP is nowhere near like having he's a legend career.
Mm-hmm. So this one is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Lupe Fiasco is Vince Carter.
Okay. How's Vince Carter's career disappointing?
It's not. He's been in the league for 20 years. That's a little bit of a problem for me. Lupe Fiasco is Brandon Roy.
He's still making records.
He is.
I mean, well, why would you say he's Brandon Roy?
Brandon Roy was on the rise in 08, 09 to be potentially a top 10 player in the league. And he wasn't crazy athletic, but the dude had all the skills you could want. You know what I'm saying? And that he was kind of Paul George-ish, but I think he was more clutch than Paul George.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? He was carrying those Blazers teams, and it was supposed to be him and Greg Oden, right? That was supposed to be the pairing.
Right.
And it's kind of reminiscent of what Dame Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge should have been. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know.
Damn, I thought about that. Imagine he would have stayed and they had him, Dame, and CJ. What if?
But Lupe, you know, when I first came into the knowledge of Lupe, bro,
06.
Bro, I fell in love. And I didn't even know he's from the shop. I just loved his energy. I loved the way
it was
he rapped.
It was refreshing. It was like a 90s throwback.
Bro.
With the
So
bars
with it.
and the rap, hip hop.
So with it, man. I'm down. I was in. And I love Brandon Roy. He was a good dude, kind of a clean cut guy.
Yeah.
He was like, he was one of those guys that transitioned to us, that was starting to transition us out of that kind of like heavy Allen Iverson influence kind of NBA. You know what I'm saying? With the cornrows and the rubber bands and the headbands, just the whole AI swag. One day I'm gonna do a fucking podcast on AI, bro, because that dude deserves his own fucking podcast. But I think he's more or less. Brendan Roy had a really great peak. He didn't get a chance to taper down. Brendan Roy didn't get a chance to taper down. But I don't know, man. What you think about that?
I mean, I didn't think that was a horrible.
It's not horrible, but Vince Carter is not the correct comparison
it's
for
not,
me.
To me, Vince Carter's career is not disappointing. The only disappointment in his career is he's not going to win the championship.
Facts.
That's the only disappointment.
Facts.
I mean, Lupe, like I say, he's still making albums. I haven't listened to his last one still.
Right.
But he's still rapping. He's still a dope-ass rapper. He has his first 2 albums were classics. It was just, I mean, what more did we want from him at that point? He had label issues. That's really what prevented him from really taking it to the next level. Those issues with Atlantic, to me. And him not willing to make radio records to sign a 360 deal. So
right.
He kind of was like more of a folk hero more than a disappointment.
Damn, you might be right about that. So they say Lupe Ceiling's top 5 MC of his era. Personally, I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
And top 20 MC ever.
I was probably put him higher than that. His ceiling. Who can out rap Lupe today?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. top 20 MC. I'm gonna say top 30 comfortably. Because we just haven't seen enough of him for me to be able to be like, yeah, that's exactly what that is. You know what I'm saying? But Carter's ceiling, top 5 shooting guard ever.
Top 5.
Bro, I'm gonna agree with that. You can't name a more athletic 2 guard.
Even more than Jordan?
More athletic than him. If you want to say Jordan, fine, because Jordan may be one of the 10 greatest. No, he was more athletic than Kobe. 100%.
Okay.
Well, I think so. I think so.
I mean, he's easily the best dunker of all time.
He probably is, man. Him, Kemp, Daryl Dawkins, Dominique. I mean, a lot of NBA players seem to think he's the greatest in game and the one dunk contest he did. You know what I'm saying? Probably could have won 5 of them. He probably could have won 5, bro.
Easily.
So yeah, I mean, I guess for what could have been, if we talking about what could have been, then yes. But career-wise, I think we could have found it better.
What could have been? What would have been Vince's ceiling exactly? Like just taking what? I mean, he got traded to the Nets, and so he was still killing there. Then I think he
was. Vince Carter should have had a run for 10 years where he was a top 8 player.
As the best player, including his team. I mean, even when he was on the Nets, would we say he was the best player, or would we say
I think Jason Kidd was the best player on that team.
Best player, or most important player?
Jason Kidd was a better defender.
Okay.
And I think offensively,
he set the tempo for
they have very different skill sets.
Yeah.
They have very different skill sets. Plus, he was a point guard. So
I don't know. Would you say they fitted together?
I think anybody fits. I'm just that. I think anybody fits. I think anybody fits can fit with Kidd. I just think he's that great of a player. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take one more break and then we're gonna knock out these last 3. I bet. What's up, guys? We're back for the Chi-Town Down, talking about NBA careers and their rap counterparts.
Get it now. Get it.
Yeah, the rap counterparts, exactly. That just flowed off the tongue, I guess, that one. So number 3, they got D.O.C. is David Thompson.
I didn't follow David Thompson's career.
I did a little bit of research on him last night.
Okay.
He was a dog. The guy I don't know about is D.O.C. You know anything about D.O.C.?
Yeah, me being a Dr. Dre fan, I gotta listen to anybody he's worked with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, that one album he was able to do, it sounded amazing. The only thing I can't listen to it is it aged. So I can't listen to that sound. But lyrically, he was a dog, and he was writing. I mean, he still was writing for Dre and other artists. I'm sure he helped writing stuff too. So he could have had a great career had not for his accident and losing his voice. That he has. I think he's kind of regained it back now to record, but at that point where he was putting out music like 88, 89, he could have been one of the best rappers. He could have been up there with the Rakims.
Right. Well, I'm going to read what it say for him. Well, let me give the ceilings for him. D.O.C. ceiling, best MC of his era, top 15 MC ever. What do you think about that?
He could have been one of the best of his era, yes. Top 15, maybe. Like he could have been up there with like the Rakims. He was really on the bars. He was a Snoop Dogg before Snoop Dogg. I'll say that.
Oh, okay. It's funny you say that. So Thompson's ceiling, best shooting guard ever. No, Michael Jordan is the best shooting guard ever. What the fuck? Why would you even put that down there? Just say top 5. Just say top 5. But what the fuck? Come on, man.
David Thompson fan.
Big David Thompson fan. And say top 10 NBA player ever. I can't go there. I can't go there. I just can't.
Even after watching the footage?
I can't.
You can't.
I can't, bro. So, because I know a little bit about him, and you know a decent amount about D.O.C., I'm gonna go ahead and read straight from the article and see what it is. It say in the 70s, Thompson was God. Listed at 6'4", Thompson was closer to 6'2" and looks noticeably shorter than his contemporaries on tape. No matter, Thompson would dunk on your head and block your shot in the blink of an eye. But in the end, he was undone by nose candy, cocaine, and peaking by 24 and washed up by 28. D.O.C. suffered a similar cruel fate. In 1989, his solo album, No One Can Do It Better, came on the heels of NWA's breakout. and it became a classic, going platinum and earning shout-outs from Jay-Z, among others. But only 3 months after its release, D.O.C. car crashed while driving home intoxicated from a video shoot. When the arriving paramedics tried to insert a breathing tube, he fought them, which caused his larynx to be scarred. In a flash, his melodic sing-song flow and famous verbal dexterity were gone. Even more, the forefather of Dr. Dre's G-Funk was delivered a death blow. So that's similar to what you just said.
Yeah.
So I actually like this comparison, though.
It's not a bad comparison.
It's not a bad comparison because David Thompson was a fucking dog, and he was the best guard of those of the '70s, at least for his time. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm with that. Top best shooting guard ever. That's my biggest problem with this. David Thompson, you the fucking man. Top 10 NBA player ever? Nah, I can't go there. I can't go there. And here's why. If we don't put Isaiah Thomas in the top 10, I'm not really necessarily willing to put him in the top 10. Not really. D.O.C. best MC of his era, top 15 MC ever. You say you roughly agree with that?
I roughly agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. If they had changed this to David Thompson as a top 5 shooting guard and a top 25 player, top 30 player all time,
you'll be all right with that.
I'm good with that. But I won't fight this one as much as I won't fight. Which one did we talk about earlier? That was pretty damn close. Was it the Lauryn Hill, Derrick Rose thing? Yeah, that was one of them that we didn't. Yeah, so I'll roll with that one. Jay Electronica is Greg Oden. Jay Sealing, top 5 MC of his era, top 5 25 MC ever, and Oden, top 10 center ever, top 40 NBA player ever. So I know quite a bit about Greg Oden, bro. I don't know as much about Jay Electronica.
Really?
Yeah.
You listen to his stuff?
No.
I mean,
put me on, dog. Educate us.
The little bit he has out, I get why he's number 2 because the potential was there. His fans are still waiting on this album that's been done for Daniel, who knows how long.
Right.
All those Exhibit A, B, C's he did with Just Blaze that came out 10 years ago. He's been with Roc Nation, Jay-Z for a minute. I mean, he has all the cosigns needed to be a great artist. He just never put the shit out. By force, by choice, who knows? But he's a bad boy with the lyrics, so he's really bad with it. He's one of the, he could definitely, that's a solid list. I would say his peak could have been maybe top 25.
You think so, really?
Yeah. If he really put it could have been higher than that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and listen to him tonight, bro.
You need to.
I am, man. Just based off what you're saying right now, I'm gonna go check him out, man.
He definitely had the bars for it. I'm not checking for him anymore. He puts out songs here and there, but like, man, you're not giving me an album, so I'm not.
Right. I feel that. That's legit.
But 10 years ago, like, okay, we need this album, dude. Stop playing with us. That's how raw talent he was.
Damn, man. I feel bad for not having really been into him at that particular time. But this is probably around the time when when was his era, kind of?
09. He was 08, 09, 2010. So it was a lot of rappers at that time that was like putting out material, rewriting no albums. It just never came to be. So, like I said, he has a relationship with Jay. So I think the album's done. I don't know what the hell he's waiting on. I don't know why he didn't put it out. Was it just not? He's not the type to put out an album. He just good with the money he got.
Right.
I don't know.
Damn, man. Come on, Jay. Stop fucking around, G. Eric said you the man, dog. I want to hear that shit. Oden, top 10 center ever, top 40 NBA player ever. So for me, Greg Oden is Patrick Ewing, right?
You mean if you were the Peach or Tom?
Yeah, that's who he would have been. That's who he would have been. You know Patrick Ewing. Yeah. He's a top 10 center. Yeah. I give him that. Yeah. Carried the Knicks for 15 years damn near. You know what I'm saying?
15, yeah.
You know, got to
the finals.
He got to the finals once. He kept getting cut down by Jordan. I mean, he got MJ'd. I mean, it happens. I'm not gonna hold that against him because he did it to a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? So Oden to me could have been him. I kind of like top 40 NBA player ever. I don't know. I don't know. See, here's the problem with what would have happened with Greg Oden, right? And here's why I'm kind of fighting the top 40 NBA player ever. Greg Oden's prime would have sort of been at the exact same time that Dwight Howard's prime would have been. Mm-hmm. And we saw what happened to Dwight. And Greg came in the league in 07? He came in with Durant. So it was 07, right?
Yeah.
So let's say he had a 12-year career. So that would put him right around now when he would have been on a that's not fair. Let's give him a 15-year career, right? Now he would be on the downside of his career. Patrick Ewing wouldn't have been quite as effective. He would have been slightly more effective than Greg Oden because Pat had a jump shot.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying? But Greg Oden, at least, would have been minimalized by today's NBA. Unless you're going to do like the one in the box with shooters all around him, which what they did with Dwight Howard back in 08, 09, 10.
Yep.
Now, if you're going to do that and let Greg Oden feast on like this kind of small ball kind of cats, I don't know if you remember when he was in during his run, his 1 year in college, his dominant hand, his right hand, he had broken. So a lot of that season he played with the left hand. He was dominating cats. So it's hard for me to sit here and say that he wouldn't have been a great player. I think he would have been a great player. I think the league would have changed around him. I didn't see him evolving into like a perimeter player much. He didn't have that kind of mobility. He could move, but he didn't have that kind of mobility. And I don't know that he ever would have developed that type of shooting touch. He probably could have developed a 12-footer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he would have developed a David Robinson type shot or like Patrick, you know what I'm saying, type of shot. But I could see for him. I can't, and because of that, I can't quite go top 40. But I'm gonna say top 60.
Top 60.
Which is not a shot at him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really great. Top 60, top 70. So yeah, I don't know. How do you feel? Given that information, I don't know shit about Jay Electronic, as I admit. How do you feel about that being a comparison? How do you feel about that comparison?
I think honestly it's fair. I mean, both. We never got to see neither one really do anything. We saw peaks of Jay. We saw what Greg can do in college. A little bit in the regular season, but he never played a full season. Now, I don't think he ever played a postseason game.
He did, because remember he got with the did he actually play? Because he actually signed with the Heat for a little while. I can't remember if he actually played. That's a goddamn shame, man.
Did they win that year?
I don't know, man.
But I think that's a fair comparison because we never really got to see neither one of them really reach what we thought were their potential, and they both had great hypes around them. I mean, Greg Oden was the #1 draft pick over Kevin Durant, so that was the big thing back then.
And I wasn't mad about that at the time, bro.
Who pick Durant or Oden, and it was like deja vu all over again. The '84 draft.
Right.
We picked Bowie, we picked Jordan. We already got Clyde. We're gonna get Jordan.
Right.
We're gonna get Bowie. So the same thing with this.
Bro, you got Clyde. Go get Jordan. Just go get the guy and dominate from the. Well, look, at the very least you could have picked Akeem Olajuwon, who was the #2 pick.
But Houston would have got him first, so they had the first pick.
Oh, you're right. They did have #1 pick. You're right. My bad. I keep thinking Sam Bowie was #1.
No, he was #2, so he was already off the board. So it was like, all right, we already got Clyde, so we don't need another shooting guard. We got a great one already. We're gonna get Bowie. What's the worst that could happen?
I would have fired the GM. What the fuck are you doing? The Blazers did have a great run in the '80s and the early '90s.
Early '90s, yeah. They
did, and Clyde was a great player.
Yeah, they made it to the finals twice, lost to the Pistons and then the Bulls.
Yeah, so he got one. He got two. Did he play on both those Houston teams or one of the? Just the one, the second one.
The second one, yeah.
Okay.
He got traded in the middle of that season and he won that ring with him.
Good for you, Clyde. You deserve it, big dog.
Him and Olajuwon got reunited from the
exactly from the five Summer Jamma days.
Yeah,
no doubt. All right. According to you, though, Jay's ceiling is a little bit higher than Oden's ceiling than what I think Greg Oden's ceiling would have been.
To me, yeah, because I mean, I saw some of Greg's game, but I didn't look at him being like the next elite level of centers or players.
We never seen him healthy.
Never seen him outside of that's college, and he wasn't even healthy then.
He wasn't healthy then, man.
So I just didn't see like the potential. But with Jay, like again, listening to those songs, like okay, if you can give me a full album of this,
yeah,
this could be another Illmatic.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
We gonna move on to that one, man. That's a mouthful, dog. That's a fucking mouthful. So if we just talking about missed promise, I'll take that.
Okay.
But if we're just doing ceiling, your man's might have had a greater ceiling than that. So this one, number one, it's a big L is Len Bias. And it's a big L ceiling, best MC of his era, top 10 MC ever. Bias ceiling, best small forward ever, top 10 NBA player ever. I think top 10 MC ever is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
And Bias top 10 NBA player ever is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay because we don't know.
Nope.
With either one of them, and we know that they were both ultra fucking talented, man. I listened to Big L some years ago, and I kind of got into him a little bit, and I went back and listened to a lot of his stuff the last 2 days, and it's an atypical New York flow.
Yep.
Atypical. I mean, he just, to me, it's kind of like AZ-ish almost, you know what I'm saying? Not exactly, but like when I listen to him, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely a New York cat. But man, his shit just flows off the goddamn tongue, man.
It does.
It just does. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I want more though. And we didn't get it.
Nope.
Len Bias, crazy athletic. They called him the Jordan Killer. Unguardable. Was going to end up being on that Celtics team.
Yep.
With McHale and
Parrish.
Bird and Parrish and a broken down Bill Walton.
I mean,
he was, but he was still giving you. The thing is, he only had to be a good Bill Walton for 15 minutes at a
DJ was
time.
still on that team. Dennis Johnson, was he still on that team?
Yeah.
So that would have been like a Golden State Warriors of the 80s.
No doubt, man. And to me, he would have gave them something that they didn't have, which would have been a hyper athletic wing player, which is what they didn't have.
That's what they didn't have.
Yes, and it would have been somebody they could have put on James Worthy to give him problems. You know what I'm saying?
They would easily won more rings.
I agree with that. And he probably extends Larry's career.
All that career. Definitely Larry's.
I think he would have disrupted those Piston things. The Pistons because those Pistons teams were loaded.
They were
bro.
loaded.
Loaded, man. And I don't know for a fact that they would have stopped them.
If you take less of a burden off a bird, and you got to have no pressure on his back. I mean, who knows? I don't know. See, here's the thing with cats like Len Bias. We see the ultra athletic player a lot of times, and his skills never really polish out. You know what I'm saying? So, best small forward of all time. You're telling me he's better than Bird. And from a skill set standpoint, Larry Bird may be the most skilled small forward we've ever seen. Yeah.
Ever. Rebound, pass, shooting, finishing around the rim. He actually was a pretty solid defender. He wasn't a great defender, but he was a very solid defender for his level of athleticism. You know what I mean? And there are people who legitimately believe that Larry Bird was a better player than Magic Johnson. And I'm kind of that ilk, bro.
Really?
I am. I think when you look at if you want to give Magic Johnson, he was way more flashy, but if you want to give him like the slight edge and being a passer, so if Magic Johnson is a 10, Larry Bird is no lower than an 8.5 as a passer. Just his ability to make plays for his teammates. Mm-hmm. He was a better rebounder.
He was. Magic
Johnson was not a defender.
No, he definitely was.
You know what I'm saying?
That was always his weak point.
We know he was nowhere near the shooter that he was. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't really did I say rebounder already?
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, well,
he wasn't a rebounder. He wasn't really a great defender. He didn't try to defend really.
Not really. You 6'9", dog. You know what I'm saying? So to put Len Bias over that is a problem. And now we got LeBron fucking James, dog.
Yeah.
As great as Len Bias probably could have been, he wasn't gonna be no goddamn LeBron James. Nah. He was nice. He was nice. But I kind of have a problem with that, dog. I kind of have a problem with that. But if you want to say top 6, top 5, small forward, whatever, I'll roll with that. And to me, that's kind of where you can kind of start to see, like, yeah, Big L could have been in that ilk. Yeah. For sure, man.
I mean, his era would have started with the J era and the Nas era. So,
he definitely would have been after Nas, right? Nas was already established.
Nas was already established.
Right.
So I put him in J because J kind of got established like in '96, and they was kind of rapping with each other at that point.
Right.
Too. So it's tough. That would be tough to say he used to be the best rapper of his era.
Yeah, because DMX showed up.
Yep.
Right. Ja Rule showed up in the late '90s.
Still had Pun before he passed.
Right.
Still had Joe.
Eminem. Mm-hmm. Who when did Slim
99.
He's right in that. And look, I'm saying lyrically, I think he would have been right there with all those cats. He would have been right there, man. And you know, I don't know, man. I don't know that I could say he would have been the best rapper of his era, right? And then we totally disrespected these dudes, even though they were kind of in the Master P's whole little crew out of New Orleans, man. They had 97, 98, 99, bro. They had a lot of hits, bro.
They had a lot of hits, but I don't think nobody was saying, man, these guys don't run the game, the rap game.
Man, they kind of was. As far as party like music and shit like that.
As a collective, yes, but individually, we think, yeah, man, Phil gonna run the rap game for 10 years.
Maybe.
Murder got this game on lock.
Probably not, but as a collective, well, look.
Mystical would have stayed, maybe. And Feeny would have got some
right.
push. I would say, yeah, even Mia X, she was dope.
I fucking love that girl, bro. Bars.
Yes.
That's another one of the things I was talking about, where you don't have a whole lot of female rappers at that, because she could have been E's contemporary to me.
Yeah.
She could have been Fox's contemporary, all that, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I have a problem saying Big L would have been potentially the best rapper of his. Is that what they said? Best MC of his era, top 10 MC ever. That's a stretch for me, dog. But like I said, it's the same stretch in the way that it says Len Bias's career would have been a top 10 NBA player ever. Like, who we taking at the top 10? Kobe, Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, Duncan, Bird, Isaiah. We putting him over those dudes? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we really LeBron James over KD? Who we taking out?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all hypothetical. So they're saying, I guess whoever wrote the article, they're saying where we feel like that peak level would have been that had they came in and lived up to their hype and where they peaked.
Well, I mean, even if let's put Len with, like, you think he would have been greater than, say, these are the guys that would have been his contemporaries, right? At least somewhat in play style. You would have had Karl Malone. Mm-hmm. You would have had Charles Barkley. Mm-hmm. You would have had David Robinson. Mm-hmm. You would have had do you remember Ralph Sampson?
Yeah.
Okay. You would have had him. You would have had guys. Some of those guys are bigger than him. You know, I get that, but these would have somewhat been his. Sean Kemp actually kind of would have been one of his contemporaries. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know, man. I think things are a little bit different once you get to the league and people start game planning for you. And I think it's sort of easy, even in that particular time when cats were staying in college for 2 and 3 and 4 years. I think it's when you that kind of athletic freak, right, and you got that kind of skill set. I don't think it's quite as easy to step into the NBA and dominate quite that way. I just think it's a different game, man. And also, personalities do play a part into that.
Yeah.
So he could have been one of those guys that had a great 2 or 3 or 4 year run and then kind of faded away into nothingness, man. So it's tough for me to sit here and say, like, oh yeah, man, he would have definitely been that guy.
Yeah.
So that's tough for me, man.
So out of the list, do you see any rapper or NBA player you felt they missed on that side, like in comparison? Or just individually, like an NBA NBA player or a rapper who makes you feel like missed on the disappointing side, who had potential but didn't reach it?
That's a great question. I did not think about that. Let me think. Steve Francis. Okay, I thought Steve Francis was a more athletic Dame Lillard. He could finish around. Like I said, he could finish around the butt. He was like, he wasn't AI, right?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. But if you're looking at what we consider to be second tier stars, like maybe not superstars. You know what I'm saying? He was firmly in that group to me. That's where he was. I would have liked to see Steve Francis could have been on this list for me. Who else could have been on this list? Shit. There was a cat the Bulls drafted a few years ago named Tyrus Thomas. Super athletic.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was going to ever be a star.
I would say, would that be a disappointment or would that be more of a bust?
He was a bust. Right? Because one thing that most of these cats, there was at least, no matter how short the window, there was a period of time when they were, there was like, oh shit. Right. There was an oh shit moment. Tyrus never had an oh shit moment.
He had some good games, but he didn't have a great season. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Next season's gonna be even better.
Right.
Like D Rose, he kept seeing each year he kept seeing it again better. And then the third year MVP, like, okay, we're gonna go higher than that. Championship's coming back, and then it just fell off.